Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, with the exception of a mini-series about the Voyager crew actually coming home, because we never actually quite saw them, step back on Earth at the end of Voyager, the IDW comics have been trashed lately. Basically, they have been given some sort of order to basically disregard pretty much all Star Trek and just make new Trek comics. So they stopped making original Star Trek comics, Next Generation comics, Deep Space Nine comics, Enterprise comics, which they never really made any Enterprise comics except one Waypoint story. The only thing they've done that resembles Star Trek is that Voyager story, which I just talked about. But the latest one they're promoting, which debuts next week, I hope I get this video up soon, so it's not like last week, that's already happened, is basically called The Last Starship, and it's just a nihilistic Star Wars Andromeda series with the Star Trek brand name on it, where Captain Kirk has been revived. His body that was kept in stasis that we saw at the end of Picard is revived, and he basically is somehow put upon the last starship to exist after the burn. This comic is set during the burn era, which is the stupidest thing that they ever wrote in Star Trek. It's just ridiculous. Basically, this alien child had a tantrum and screamed on a planet where he was connected to the dilithium on the planet, and it detonated all the dilithium in all the starships in all the universe and basically blew all up everything. The Federation's all gone. And, I think the 7 decades since then, because it was 120 years before Michael Burnham showed up to save the day, everyone just sat around like, oh, we don't know what to do. We need someone to come and save us, because we seem to have forgotten that there are other ways to travel through space. There are other aliens who have different ways of powering warp cores, and they just sat there for 120 years and did nothing. And this is set 70 years, so it's just prone to fail, because they brought back Captain Kirk 70 years into this 120-year death of Starfleet, where they're just stuck and nothing's happening. They're just waiting for Michael Burnham to come and save them. He's going to pop up and fail, I guess, because what can he do? He didn't solve the burn. He didn't fix anything, because it was all still a mess 50 years later when Michael Burnham showed up to save the day. So yeah, it's just the stupidest. The burn was the stupidest thing ever they did, and doing this story is pretty much a follow-up to that stupidest thing they ever did. And I just can't. It's like, so what is the point of doing this story? We know that nothing is fixed, nothing's resolved. So Kirk achieves nothing, can achieve nothing. What is the point of bringing him back? And it's the same old story. It's like, it's just Star Wars again. Oh, we've got a ragtag team of people on a rickety old ship flying around. Although this time it doesn't appear there's an actual outright enemy. But I did see some pictures of the Gorn, which oddly enough, even though it's a new Trek, resembles the original Gorn. So none of it makes any sense. I'm guessing the Gorn is now the enemy. I'm guessing if they had a different form of warp power, then they could have remained active and gained some sort of power over the quadrant. Who knows? But so I just saw a little ad for this that's actually next week, and I'm just like, I forgot how bad this was. I forgot it was set during the burn. I mean, God, we just need to just forget about what happened in Discovery and move on. And the fact that even though Discovery was cancelled 2 years ago and Strange New Worlds was just cancelled, they're getting 5 more episodes, kind of like a season 5, but not really. They're really just extending the 4th season, because they didn't really take a break between 4th season and 5th season. They're pretty much just going straight through into the 5th season. Technically, I mean, like I just said, it's not really a 5th season, it's 6 extra episodes. They should have just let it go and just focus on... That's the good thing about the comics. You don't need any production. You don't need the actors. You don't need the actors to look like they did 20 years ago. So just do original Star Trek, do Next Generation, do Deep Space Nine, do Voyager, which they are actually doing, although it's after the mission, so yeah. Do Enterprise. Do something interesting in the Lost era between the original series and the movies and the Next Generation. But instead, no, they're just doing again and again this Star Wars story where you've got a ragtag group of non-Starfleet or anti-Starfleet members on some random ship with no sort of Starfleet order, just running around acting like the characters from Star Wars, and there's no sense of exploration or the Federation or this better future that Star Trek gave us in Gene Roddenberry's vision of Star Trek. I'm just really hoping that along with this change with the contracts or the production, things like this are going to go away. Like the comics will no longer have to only produce new Trek stories, and if they are forced to produce stories from whatever new Star Trek shows they make with Skydance, that they actually resemble Star Trek and actually are worth existing. But so I just saw that and I'm like, really? I felt how bad this was, and just the reality that IDW isn't bad at making Star Trek comics, but they seem to either be focused on only the New Trek era, which defeats the purpose of being a comic and being able to do anything, or they've been given like this doctrine that they have to actually only focus on the new shows and the current productions, even though all the current productions are pretty much cancelled. Starfleet Academy is not getting a third season, and Strange New Worlds was already cancelled. They're just finishing off the fourth season basically by doing 6 more episodes, which is going to count as a 5th season, but not really. So yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of The Last Captain. And I'm just I don't know what's more tired, the whole villain seeking vengeance thing that we got from Khan, and every movie and every other series seems to have a villain, usually one seeking vengeance, that we have to deal with, or this other idea that it's always a ragtag group of non-Starfleet, anti-Starfleet sort of people that we're on a ship full of. It's like, why can't we have a Starfleet ship with a Starfleet crew exploring space? Why is it always this little Star Wars group of people in some makeshift, barely getting their sort of ship? It's just Star Wars. They're just using the brand name and making Star Wars because they think that's a cooler story, having a bunch of random people working together who hate each other and hate everyone and hate everything. And that's better than, a crew of adult, mature, well-trained, Starfleet officers who are the best, that there is, the best Earth can offer, going out into, the universe to explore. That's what they keep throwing that out and just going back to the Star Wars format. But yeah, I'm going to go. This is a really long video. It was meant to be just a short little comment on, God, that thing's coming out. I forgot how bad it was. But there's so much wrong with Star Trek at the moment. It's easy to talk about it all and get stuck on it all. And it's also therapeutic to talk about it all because it helps to get it out that Star Trek keeps being misused, misrepresented, and just product after product we get is just not worth paying for. And that's why Star Trek isn't really making